Okay guys, so let's start with our sequence. Here I have my Photoshop open. On the other side here in my folder, I have each one of my photos numbered. So this is what the name of my layer is going to be. So I'm going to start by grabbing this first one, and I'm just going to drag it right onto Photoshop, and what it's going to do is it's going to create the background layer. I need to get rid of these grid lines, so I'm going to do that by saying View and turn off extras. Okay, so then from there, I have all of these numbered, so I'm just going to shift click, and then I'm just going to drag them all in there, and I'm just going to hit enter, enter, enter. And I also need to preface this by telling you that this is not the best example of a sequence, but no one would model for me. I didn't have you guys, so this is what we're working with for this tutorial. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to my background. I'm going to keep it locked, but I'm going to turn off all of these other ones. Okay, so the only one I want to see is my background. Dun, dun, dun. I must have had one left on. Okay, number 4. Okay, so here's my background. All right, so now I'm going to start with my first layer. So I'm going to turn sequence 2 on. Notice my background is selected, so I need to make sure that I select sequence 2 because that is the layer that I'm working on. I also want you to notice that there's this shadow here. If you can, include your shadows. I'm not the best at it, but I'm going to try it, all right? So you're going to grab your lasso tool, which is this one here. If you can't see it, just hold on your keyboard for a long time. It should pop up and choose lasso. And then you're simply going to draw around your subject, or actually in this case it's going to be yourself. Maybe I should have had someone take a picture of me and do this, since that's what I'm making you guys do. Next time I'll do that. Okay, so I'm just selecting this. I'm going to let go of it. And what you'll see if I turn this off is you'll kind of see where that selection is. So it's covering that first foot, but that's okay. All right, so making sure that layer is selected. This little guy down here, I am going to add a mask. And basically what that does, you guys, is it basically deleted the entire background that was part of that image. So you can see right here that it's not necessarily lined up. So I'm going to show you why this isn't the best example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press V on my keyboard to use my move tool, and then I'm just going to use my arrow keys to line this up. So you can see now how I'm going to have this little line up here, but don't worry because we can always crop that out. The other thing is you're going to be making sure that your subject is in full view, so you probably won't have this problem. Okay, so then I'm going to zoom out here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my brush tool. So I am going to select my mask. Okay, so I'm going to make sure my mask is selected because I'm going to brush on that mask. What you'll notice here is I have black. You want black to be selected as your color. If you switch it to white, what will happen is you can brush the mask back on. So let me see. If I press B for my brush tool, and I'm going to increase the size by using my bracket, so you can kind of see here that what I'm doing is I'm removing that mask I made. Okay, this isn't the best example, but that's what's happening. But what's cool is that, now let me zoom in, and no, that's not what I want. I'm going to press my space bar so that I can drag this over. Remember, I learned from After Effects. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in close here. So again, I'm going to press B for my brush tool. My cursor is really big, so I'm going to use my open bracket key to make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to make sure I have black here, because what I want to do is I want to click and I want to get close to the hand. So you can see how I can erase here, but I don't want to do that. I just want to remove this part of the mask, just to make this look better. So again, you're just going to be very careful. So you can see why there's a method to my madness, and I had you guys do the select color first, because this is nothing new for you guys. Okay, and then same thing here. And in this one, it's not that big of a deal, but you'll see in the next one, it's a bigger deal. Okay, all right, so now I am going to zoom out. All right, so you can see, you know, I actually maybe shouldn't have even used this first image because it's blocked out anyway, but that's okay. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on my next layer, which is this one here. I'm going to use my lasso tool again, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get really close. Well, and then, well, good news is I made a mistake, you guys. Do you see how I had this layer selected? See, there's a method to my madness again, as usual. I actually drew that lasso on the wrong layer. So I'm going to press Command D to deselect. I'm going to make sure that I have my correct layer selected, and I'm going to do it all over again. All right, so now I have the correct one done. I'm going to create my mask. All right, so now you can see I'm really going to have to use that brush tool to get rid of this because it's cut off that leg. You can also see, like if I zoom in, it's so weird how even though we put those layers one on top of each other, how it's not necessarily lined up. So I'm going to press V for my move tool. I'm just going to move this down so that the lines are in alignment. Okay, so you're going to look for those kinds of cues. Okay, then I'm going to zoom out again, and then I am going to press B for my brush tool, and I have black here, and I'm simply going to get in close. The real place I want to get in close is right here because I need to make sure that that leg is shown. Okay, so let me turn this off and see if anything else is covered. No, I think we're okay. So again, not the best. And again, we can crop it later to get that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to continue to do that for all of your different sequence photos. And then you are going to export this as a JPEG and you're going to submit it to me in Canvas. So I hope you have fun doing this.